Good morning on what is a mild grey and damp day. It is Monday the 25th of December and I'm in the reading room with a nice hot cup of tea and a box. I am continuing to unbox, which is the next thing in here is this, which is a copy of Carcass Crawler. And this is the official, this is issue number 3, and it's the official Old School Essentials design. So, we open up, and so, Old School Essentials retro adventure game, Carcass Crawler, the official Old School Essentials design. Carcass Crawler is a design devoted to Old School Essentials from Necrotic Gnome. Each issue is packed with new material for your games, including new character classes and races, new spells and magical items, new monsters, referee advice, optional and expanded rules, previews of in-development products, short adventures, and more. In this issue, new classes, 5 new classes, the Beastmaster, the Dragonborn, the Mutoid, the Mycelian, and the Tiefling. Races, 4 new character races for advanced fantasy games, the Dragonborn, the Mutoid, the Mycelian, and the Tiefling. Expanded equipment, 40 new adventuring gear items, 7 new weapons, 5 new types of armor, monsters, 8 new monsters, and monster creation advice. Now, if you've not seen it, Old School Essentials is a Old School Renaissance retro clone. It's specifically based upon the version of basic Dungeons and Dragons designed by Mulvey and Marsh, 1980-81. And it was my introduction to role playing, and it's the one I have probably the most affection for of all the sort of like original role playing games, because of that. And that's pretty standard across sort of like people. You know, what was your first role playing game? That's the one you generally have to have the most affection for. But Old School Essentials has taken that basis and presented a very cleaned up, very clearly presented version of the rules that are accessible, playable, and are fun to play. And Carcass Crawler supports that. There's lots of stuff. I mean, Old School Essentials is one of the most supported Old School Renaissance retro clones in the OSR hobby, including by Necrotic Gnome itself. So we open up, and we've got the cover again, and the credits page, table of contents, and introduction. And we have new classes and races section, introduction to what they are, you know, basically quick overview, and it does two things. Note that the section does 2 things. So the basic rules in Old School Essentials is that you have race as class. So if you want to play an elf character, your class is also elf, or halfling if you're playing a halfling character, and so on. It's only humans who get the options of taking the roles of cleric, thief, fighter, or wizard. But if you switch over to the other option, there is if you switch over to advanced, essentially rules for Old School Essentials, advanced fantasy, you have the option of separating the two of. So you can choose a race, and then you can choose a class. So you can have a Dragonborn who is a fighter, or you definitely have a Tiefling who is a sorcerer or a thief. So you essentially one of those the races class option models basic Dungeons and Dragons, whereas the race and class separation models advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Definitely first edition, and then of course second edition as well, but essentially advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So there are the options. So the human standard character class is the Beastmaster, who essentially accumulates animal companions, is able to control them, communicate with them, see through their eyes, that sort of thing. So what's happening with that is you're kind of running around with a big pack behind you as your support. We have the Dragonborn, so we sort of go back to Dungeons and Dragons, sort of like 3rd edition, where the Dragonborn was introduced as a playable character race. So basically, the Dragonborn as essentially as a martial class, a warrior class in Old School Essentials. The Mutoid, which is basically sort of like a monstrous class in that you know, you're rolling for essentially different mutations, and you can have different sort of like mutoid powers. So you know, mimicry, and you've got thieves' abilities like hide in shadows and so on. And you've got something. The mutations are like beast ears. You've got good hearing. Pincers, you've got an unarmed attack, and so on. Another thing to note about this this layout is this layout is one that is carried all the way throughout Old School Essentials. So you literally have the description of the class, essentially here we have the race as class, all on one page. The description, you know, level limits. Weapons allowed, skills and abilities, and then we have, you know, the sort of the level stats, what you need to get to level, saving throws, chances of using particular thief skills, and so on, all on the double page spread. So you don't need to refer to anything else, and that's a great feature of Old School Essentials. Does the same thing for the Mycelium, another sort of similar but an underground sort of like mushroom warrior, which kind of echoes, which of course is a nod to the mushroom men, fungoid men, monster found in Dungeons and Dragons. And then there's the same thing, the Tiefling, which also goes all the way back to Planescape, which is 30 years old in 2024. You know, so the Tiefling has fiendish heritage, connection to a demon, so it's affected by holy water, but also has a spell that they can cast once per day. And then it takes those races and separates them out. So you've got the basic abilities of the Dragonborn and the Mutoid as a race. And the Mycelium and the Tiefling again as a race, and these are presented basically just on the single pages because that's when they don't need any more space for that. They don't need all the abilities of the class as race. We have weapons and armor, so you know it introduces things like the bastard sword, blackjack, blowgun, bolus, garrote, and whip as the weapons. Armor, padded armor, furs, studded leather, banded mail, full plate. There we go, and their properties. And the inclusion of these weapons pushes Old School Essentials towards sort of like the similar weapons listings you would find in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. You know, you would have the more sort of like differentiation of the armor types. You know, what with banded mail, full plate, and so on. Woodland monsters like the corpse vine, which is sort of like a roper but for trees. A ghoul stag, undead stag, rotting away there. That's quite a horrible thing. I quite like that. A nettle skull spider, and basically nettles infecting a skull. A spell croaker, sort of like a frog that emits spells. And its tadpole form. And then we've got a guide to creating monsters, and it starts off here. We've got how to, you know, basically tweak existing monsters, so you don't need to do all that work of, you know, I'll start off from the ground up and you know, hit dice, concept, armor class, and so on. Just tweak one, change the name, etc. But if you want to do one for the groundwork, it's going to take you through this process step by step. So choose hit dice, choose armor class, and you've got some examples down there to help you. Movement rate, attacks, and so on. Example special abilities. And that's it. That is Carcass Crawler, the official Old School Essentials, issue 3. Now these are all good issues. I really enjoyed all of the issues of Carcass Crawler. And if you're a fan of old school essentials, you definitely want to have these to hand. Definitely because they give you lots of new options in terms of races and classes, and races as classes, of course. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box containing a book or game, or in this case a fanzine, which I will unbox and talk about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. Be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.